Hey everybody, it's me, Andy.
And I'm Sean.
And this is the Commander's Brew.
Welcome to Dinosaurs Park.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to episode 114. We are the Toronto Raptors.
Oh, yeah, basketball.
That's what we are today because today is Dinosaurs. We're doing it.
Yeah, we're wearing the purple and the black, or is it red? What are
Well,
our
it's not
official
purple.
colors?
We're not doing purple anymore these days. Toronto has officially changed to red and black and has been for quite some time now.
Like 10 years.
Yeah, well, maybe not that long, but pretty long.
Yeah, not a basketball guy, got to admit.
We were purple and red and white, basically purple and red, which I support because I sort of got like half the teams in the NBA, their colors are black and red at this point. It's like it's enough. We're good. That color combo's been done. But anyways, that's not the color combo we're working with today, although red and white are colors that are involved. Yeah, man, this is it. This is our second Ixalan flavored episode.
Oh, man, and what a flavor. Dinosaur flavor.
That's right. Big dinosaur flavor. It's all dinos. I bet you didn't think there was really a dino deck. It turns out there kind of is.
Oh, man. We can't wait to bring it to you. Of course, we will bring it to you under $50. Asterisk about some special cards later on. We'll do no cards over $5 probably. And it's brought to you by, the Wizard's Tower, Ultimate Guard, Sleeves and Boxes, and you guys, loyal listeners, and especially our patrons.
Loyal listeners, patrons, got to say big shout out to our patrons. Thank you so much. Thanks
big
for everything.
Roar out.
Big roar out. That's me going to insert the sound of the dinosaur roaring there later. So hopefully you did actually hear a dinosaur roaring there.
And if you just hear silence, it's because Andy forgot.
It's because I definitely forgot. Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be like an hour before you have to think about that again.
Also, YouTube fans will notice that I just had to remove my cat and make her prevent her from stepping on the keyboard, which she is a big fan of.
Oh yeah,
she loves to step on that keyboard. You kitten havers out there will know that. They're wild. Cool. This is it, man. This is the episode. But before we get into that, let's have a bit of fun. Sean and I have been talking about different segments, different little games we can play. We got one that is pretty decent here, I think. It's a classic game. It's called Categories. And
we tried it once before, but I think we had to adjust the dials a little bit for this version.
Yeah, because Sean was doing stuff like, okay, name 5 mana enchantments. And it's like, whoa.
It seems like it's doable.
Honestly, does it?
I don't know.
I can name one. We did this before, and you could name 0, your own category. You couldn't even name any.
Aren't there like hundreds?
I'm sure there are, but unless you know which ones, you have to remember not only which ones are 5 mana, but you also have to remember which ones. You have to remember their names, we're terrible at that.
A quick search on Scryfall tells me there are how many? I won't say how many there are.
At least 120.
There's 195.
Look at that. See? That's not too bad.
Oh man, we forgot doubling season.
Oh, I thought that was 6. See, that's the other
Dictate
problem.
Dictate of Erebos.
We can
Dictate
remember
of
lots
Heliod.
Of them. It's very easy when you're looking at them in front of you.
Yeah, it's true. But these are ones we should have like these are in our commander brains. Like as commander players, these are not obscure ones. They're those ones we put in a lot of decks.
That's true.
Or we think about.
But we've got something that's more tailored for us at this point.
Oh gosh, Black Market, Assemble the Legion. Man, this should have been. Am I stupid? I just can't think of any. Like I'm looking at these 5-mana enchantments. I'm like, yep. I know it.
Like, who remembers if it's 5 or 6? It always seems like it's 6 to me. Like a thing like that always seems like it's going to be 6 mana. If not even less. But you're talking enchantments. I don't know, man. I can't.
Oh, the gods count too.
I don't remember that. Aroas, is he 5 mana?
I'm not at the eyes yet.
Anyways, this is not the game. This is not the game. Sean just looking up cards and naming them.
Yeah, yeah.
The
That's
game
not
is
the
off the
game.
top, off the dome, off the top of the head. Can you outname somebody in any specific category? And
We
Sean, you had
had
a
to
good
make it
one.
easier than this. Yeah, okay, so you ready to
I
play?
think this is a good one because I don't remember many names of these except for like some key ones. So this won't last super long, and I think we're gonna get a winner out of this one here.
So we're gonna go back and forth, let's say no repeats, and you only have like a 4 second time to think up a new one, let's say, and the first person to mess up loses.
Well, sure, that sounds great. Either you
Okay,
mess up or you can't name one
yeah,
when the other
like if,
person hasn't already named one. So like whoever goes first, the second person has to name like you have to name one more than the other person, right?
oh yeah, it's like tennis.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, great. So the category we've picked, which should be good, is counter spells. Okay, how about this? Counter spell.
Okay, that's so cheap that you get to do that.
Hey man,
But I will say cancel.
I will say. Well, okay, but now does remand count?
Does it counter a spell?
Does it? Yeah, but it puts it somewhere different. I don't know if it actually says counter or if it just says put the spell back into your hand.
Well, you're gonna say it. Are you gonna stand by that? You know what it does.
Yeah, I'm saying remand, but I'm not sure if that's right.
Remand does counter a spell. You are right.
Okay.
I'm gonna say mana drain.
Ooh, I'm gonna say deprive.
Ooh, this one might have been too easy because now I'm starting to think of a bunch of other ones. Dissipate.
Oh, does dissipate exile?
It counters, but you exile it instead.
Oh, counter exile. Okay, then I'll say rewind.
Oh man. Swan song.
Oh, I was gonna say that. Um, draining whelk.
Oh, that's a creature.
It counters a spell.
It does, but that's an ability that counters a spell. Will that count?
I
That
don't
is
know.
not. I don't know. Is that a counter spell?
I mean, it doesn't have to be.
Would you
it
consider
does-
that a counter spell?
Okay, if we
I'm
don't
gonna
reset
say
the clock.
I was gonna say yeah. I'm okay with accepting that actually.
Okay, then we
I think
accept it.
I think if you have draining welk in your thing, I think that counts, right?
Okay.
Well, does that mean that Kozilek is
Oh, geez.
he counts as a counter spell?
Well, okay, we have to count it. Glen Alendra Archmage.
Okay, this is. Oh man.
Okay.
Oh well. What about like oh, what's it called?
Starting the clock. 1, 2,
Isn't there some fairy spell where it's like fairy
3.
trickery or something?
Oh, that's it. Yeah.
Is it called fairy trickery?
I think it is. I'm looking it up. I'm looking up the name
It is called
fairy.
fairy trickery. I'm
Yeah,
right.
okay.
Wow.
Negate.
Yeah, you gotta have negate. You gotta use negate. What about essence scatter?
Oh yeah, that was the next one. How about cryptic command.
Yes. Yeah, that's a good one. Airtie corrupted wizard. Does that
Force of
count?
will.
Does that actually count? Airtie?
Yeah, we're counting it.
We are.
Sure.
We are.
But your turn again because I go force of
Because you
will.
went force of will. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. What about I think that's it. I think I'm done.
Oh, I got one more in the tank here. Pact of negation.
Yeah, that's a good one. Classic.
Yeah, I just went to the like expensive ones I will never put in a deck.
Pact of negation. Yeah, that's a good one. There it is. Sean wins the counter spell.
Ooh, tricky. That was tough.
Imagine now I pick dinosaurs.
Oh my god, you just Andy brewed the deck. You have a disadvantage. I am at a disadvantage.
No, yeah, of course not. Okay, well that's pretty good. Do you want to do? Should we do another round, or are we good?
I don't know if you got something good. Let's do one more round. Maybe Counterspells was a bit broad.
I think it's like just on the verge of being a bit too. I mean, for us, right? Some people could sit here and name literally every single counterspell
Yeah,
all day. We're like, I don't know what it is about us, but I've gotten worse at naming cards since we started this podcast.
totally.
I honestly used to be very good at it. I think, like, as far as what was in my brain, you know what I mean, like what I knew.
Psychologically, it must have something to do with like we're storing so many little details like power, toughness, casting cost, like what it does, that it must start pushing out details that we find erroneous because the name technically doesn't have any impact on what the card does. The name is kind of the, no offense to the flavor people, kind of the least important part of the card.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's like I notice a lot of pros also have trouble naming cards a lot of the time, and I find that really. I always find it very surprising, but I guess not that I'm a pro at all, but I guess I understand that the more Magic you begin to know, the less the card names kind of stick out to you, and that might not be true across the board for everyone, but I guess I can understand if that happens to someone because I think it's basically happened to me.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it must be like maybe you just you just spend all your effort memorizing casting cost, like power, toughness, and any ETB abilities.
Yeah.
Because you have to memorize all of them that are in your format because know what you're up against. So at that point, it's just like, well, names are extra data I don't need.
What is like, um, this category is very limited, but I don't even think you and I can name all of them.
Okay.
The Gainlands.
Ooh, okay. Scoured Barrens.
Hey, you don't get to go first. It's
Okay, you
thing.
go first. You go first.
Scoured Barrens.
Sure. Um, um, Windswept Heath. No, that's a fetch land.
That's not it.
Is that a fetch land?
That is a fetch land. That is it. You're out. I win the round.
Well, no, you got to name another. You got to, right? It's tennis.
No, because
we said, yeah, I messed up. You got to do another one after me.
No.
That's what we said.
No. Listen, it works the other way around.
No.
Hang on. Let me explain now. So the way it works is you have to name one more than the other person. That's how it works. Right?
No, it was like, no, you gotta like prove yourself by doing. We said tennis rules, tennis.
No, you said tennis, but you misunderstood
and you
what I meant.
agreed with me.
Basically, you just have to have one more than the other person. So if
I call BS. No way.
No. Listen, if I went and I named one, and then you named one, right? You don't just get to win because you were the last person to name one, because we each named one that way. So you have to. No?
I disagree.
Why
Here's
do you
why.
disagree? You have to name two more.
Good reason.
That means you didn't. That means you didn't win the last round. Then you have to name two.
I did name one more. That I went one past your mistake. I named two in a row.
But you didn't have to.
I did. I thought I had to under my assumption of the rules, like tennis. That's how tennis works. It doesn't matter who hit the ball the most. It's who got like the last point and then one more point.
Right, but that's not how you win categories. The way you win categories is you just
name one more. Well, it could be how you win categories.
Well, if you change the rules, yes, I suppose.
I don't think it should just be a mere count of who did the most. I think it's like who gets the last one.
That doesn't make any sense. No game, no sport just is who gets the last one.
Okay, what about this? What about this then? What if
we have now been arguing about this for 25 minutes.
Great. We'll cut
I'm going to cut most of this out.
For sure. Just give me equal representation in what you cut out.
No way. You're going to look like a fool. I'm going to make you look like an idiot. None of what you say is going to make sense.
If you go first and I go second, and I come up with one, but neither of us can come up with any more, is that a draw?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
That's so dumb. There shouldn't be a draw.
Why is it dumb? We tied on score. None of us can name more than that number. We each got two each or whatever it is.
Last person out should win. There should always be a winner and always be a loser.
That doesn't make any sense. I score a goal, you score a goal. Why do you win? Because you scored the last one.
Okay, let's think of it like sudden death, right?
It's
First
not
person.
sudden death, though. It's not
We
sudden death.
could. It could be
Yes, it could be if you really wanted it to be, I
if you want it
suppose.
to be more exciting. The fact that draws
And
exist is ludicrous.
unfair. And unfair. It is
No
unfair.
way, man.
Yes, it
It's
is.
fair once you're like it's fair because if both people know a bunch, it doesn't matter who went first once you're 10 deep. It's irrelevant. You're so deep in.
Okay,
Like
so
you're
you want
getting
it to be sudden death, and I just want it to be even and allow draws. You just don't want to allow draws.
no draws.
Okay. Well, then that is the final thing to put to the people is like, should there be allowed draws or should you just go last thing wins? Right.
Oh, boy.
That's basically what it comes down to.
I really want to hear what you cut this into. I really can't wait to hear how
It will
you
be
cut this
edited. I'm gonna make you say other things. I'm gonna go back to other podcasts and take out words you've said and basically make you just say, oh, actually, you're right. In the end, I agree with you.
Oh, yeah, I'll give you some fodder right now.
Oh, it's going to be great. No one's even going to know we had this argument. This is going to be a nice discussion for the people listening.
Oh man, it's such a sunny day here in Toronto. I just want it to be over immediately. That work? Does that work?
I don't even know. I don't even know if you said any of the right words. I'll go
don't know.
back. I'll make sure I get the right words.
Okay.
So forget about that second round of categories. Instead, we'll play a bit of that rules discussion, which we certainly should have had before, in depth before the game started.
Yeah, we should have saved you the half hour.
Yeah, I just kind of said, yeah, and then let's just started playing because I assumed what you meant by tennis rules was what I meant too. I just assumed we meant the same thing, so whatever.
Yep, that makes sense.
Okay.
Andy was correct.
Whoa, you just said it. You didn't even need to. I don't even need to cut anything together.
No, that's not me. I didn't mean that.
Listen,
that's for you to cut.
I am going to take that and just leave it. It's just going to be left in.
No.
This is great.
Okay.
Well, now that you've admitted I'm correct about the rules on categories, let's get into talking about dinosaurs.
Fight this till I die. Okay, dinosaurs.
Gishath's son's avatars are commander for this deck. So this was an interesting deck to brew. Do we have enough dinosaurs? Is the question I had when it came to like oh wait, sorry, I'm just getting the card up here. Like, do we have enough dinosaurs, right? That's obviously the biggest question we have when we're talking about a new tribe such as this. If you remember, when we made Dapala, we talked about the lack of dwarves throughout Magic's history, despite wanting to build a dwarf tribal deck. Luckily, of course, Wizards of the Coast went back and they said, you know what? We're going to take some creatures that already exist and we are going to turn them into dinosaurs.
Good for you, Wizards.
Which I think is a brilliant move, and I must also commend the way they did it. I'm going to look this up real quick because I didn't even think to have the list up. Right, so 14 creatures have been errated to dinosaurs. This is just one thing we need to just point out, right? Very, very quickly, I'm going to read you the names. Some of these appear later, and we'll talk about them, but I just want to quickly run them down. They are Alpha Tyrannax, Deathwish Raptor, Dromasaur, Frenetic Raptor, Fungasaur, Imperiosaur, Magmasaur, Pangasaur, Putrid Raptor, Pygmy Allosaurus, Ridgetop Raptor, Ripscale Predator, Shivan Raptor, and Tyrannax. Now, I'd say every single one of those, except for like maybe the Tyrannax's ones, because what the hell is a Tyrannax? And also Ripscale Predator. So only 3 of those 14 have names that don't immediately just sound like dinosaurs anyways, right? Everything is either a raptor or a saurus or a soar or something like that. So I think brilliant move by picking those ones that are just obviously meant to be dinosaurs. And then like Ripscale Predator and the 2 Tyrannaxes are obviously, again, drawn like dinosaurs. Like they look like dinosaurs, so it makes a lot of sense. So when you're looking back through your old cards and stuff, when you're looking to pick these guys up, and obviously the errated text is not on the card, I think it is very easy to pick out what a dinosaur is. As you'll see, if you look them up, you'll see the art is all obviously dinosaurs. The only one that doesn't look really like a dinosaur is Fungasaur. But his name is
Oh,
Fungusaur. Like it's a giant fungus dinosaur, right?
and he has original
He is
enrage.
the original Enrage, it looks like. Yeah. I mean, there
Yeah.
may have been something before him, but as far as dinosaurs go,
I think he goes back to Alpha, if I'm not
oh my God,
mistaken.
you're right. He is limited edition alpha.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, great. There you go. Fungusaur is the original Enrage. They reached way back for that. So the ones that are named, the ones that I just named, are all old ones that have been turned into dinosaurs now, and it all makes a ton of sense. And I think it's a great move for Wizards to do that. And as a result, add that to the dinosaurs we get from Ixalan, and I gotta say, I'm very surprised at the number of dinosaurs we get. Most of them are like, pretty decent. They're not all strictly commander playable outside of a dinosaur tribal deck. In fact, I'd say most of them are not. But I think we're looking a little better than we were on dwarves here. I think we actually have a decent amount, and it's the other thing that like Gishath gets you them, so it's actually it's even better. You know what I mean? It's not just like all dinosaurs get +1/+1 or something like that. It's actually the commander actually works well even with these kind of like, I don't know, second tier dinosaurs or whatever you want to call them.
I think the cool thing about dinosaurs when you're looking at it as a tribe is they come in all shapes and sizes. Unlike like dwarves are all kind of small.
That's true. It's very
But
true.
like you can get, some big ones, some little ones. You can really have a curve.
You really can. There are a lot of cheap dinosaurs. There's a lot of expensive ones too. So yeah, you really do. We do run the full gamut here. And I gotta say, it's a fun deck to play. If that, it does have some pretty big flaws, but we'll get to those as well. I did actually manage to play test with this one a little bit, so that's fun. I don't always get a chance to do that. Okay, so let's get right into it. Let's talk about what important categories of cards, and I think it's just pretty obvious. We're going to talk.
We
some
should start with
dinosaurs.
the commander though, right?
Oh right, Gishath. Yeah. Well, actually, even before that, we should just do a quick Wizards Tower ad.
Oh yeah, let's do that first.
Let's do that.
Don't be bored this summer. Come on down to the Ixalan theme park. Get lost in the Pirates Cove. We'll shiver your timbers on rides and thrills. Or cool off at the Merfolk Splash Zone. We've got 35 miles of water slides. Hope you can hold your breath. And have a vampire weekend at the Vamp Campgrounds. We've got running water and everything. And who says dinosaurs are just for kids anymore? Dino Zone! Unsupervised kids will get eaten. And all throughout the park you can enjoy tasty snacks and Coca-Cola brand beverages. And in every zone you can shop at the Wizards Tower. WizardTower.com, your place for Magic singles. They'll ship anywhere for free to Canada or the US if you spend $15 or more on singles and use coupon code Tower of Brews. You can get an extra 5% off. Not only that, you'll get 3% kickback on your next order, or put it towards a season pass for Ixalan theme parks. Join us now. It's Ixalan!
Yeah, you know what? Ixalan is already kind of like a theme park. Like it's got Pirates of the Caribbean. It's got the Jurassic Park, like from Universal Studios. It's got Merfolk Wizards in the Wizarding World of Harry Potter.
And Merfolk could also be the there's always a water park in a lot of theme parks. That could be
good
that.
Call. Yeah. And a bunch of vampires. And scary vampires on horses.
Well, a lot of theme parks do this time of year like a Halloween special opening where they're open extra late and they have like spookified versions of things.
That's true. Canada's Wonderland does that.
Yeah, it's great.
Our classic one here. Used to be
The
Paramount.
Halloween.
Used to be Paramount Canada's Wonderland. They used to have like more of a movie theme to it, and then Paramount dropped that sponsorship.
Now they are owned by the Six Flags family of theme parks.
That's right. So does that mean they'll have like a DC partner up? Because I know Six Flags gets that.
I think they have like if any new rides they'll be able to use that licensing, I assume, or relicense things.
Or maybe
I don't know what
it's
they've
in
done.
Canada. Maybe it's different.
Yeah. I don't know.
Anyways, let's talk about our commander here, Gishath, Sun's Avatar. He's 5 and 3 Naya colors, so red, green, white. That's 8 in total. This guy is not cheap. Legendary dinosaur avatar. He's a 7/6. He has trample, vigilance, and haste. Whenever Gishath Sun's Avatar deals combat damage to a player, reveal that many cards from the top of your library. Put any number of dinosaur creature cards from among them onto the battlefield and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So Gishath wants a like critical mass of dinosaurs in the deck. just because you want to hit as many of those as possible. Because in my experience, you will cast Gishath. He has haste, which is great. You'll get in on probably an unsuspecting person or someone who only has 2 or 3 worth of stuff to block with that isn't just going to die. You get in, you hit for 7 or 6 or whatever it is, and you flip a bunch of dinosaurs and get them out. Then usually Gishath gets taken care of pretty hard because it is a big, mean, trampling, vigilant dinosaur that has 7 power, which is the magic number, obviously. So it can be he tends to get killed. He tends to get dealt with, and then past that first 8, you're talking about 10 mana to bring him back. So you kind of have to pick your spot with your actual commander. And I mostly just played against like the computer in like 3-player games, and I actually didn't even really cast them all that often, just because it's oftentimes you just had some other stuff in your hand that you wanted to do more than that, or he just cost too much. He's already been out and he's died once or twice, and therefore it's like now it's impossible to cast him. So that's like a downside of Gishath, but it is a good commander, I gotta say. And these are great ramp colors, so we'll ramp hard into these big dinos. So Gishath's not going to be out of touch forever. And the good thing about it is, like, if you run out of cards, if you run out of stuff to do, and all you do is end up drawing your lands or you draw your ramp like late game, it actually isn't that bad, because you can cast Gishath with that late ramp that you don't really need, but you cast him with it, you get in with him, and then you get a bunch of creatures off of it. So he does help you kind of get back if you get behind later with like board wipes and stuff like that. So he actually really works pretty well as the commander, despite the high and heavy cost. Let's talk about the categories. Like I was saying earlier. Well, we have a bunch of new dinosaurs to talk about. I mentioned some old ones, which we'll get to in a sec, but let's talk about some of the new ones. Sean, why don't you read the first one here?
Goring Ceratops, 5 white dinosaur, double strike, 3/3. Very expensive for a 3/3 double strike. However, what you get is whenever Goring Ceratops attacks, other creatures you control gain double strike until end of turn. That includes Gishath. So I would imagine you would cast this guy first, and then you would resolve Gishath, attack, and then Gishath has double strike for double the triggers.
Yeah, just remember the Goring Ceratops has to attack as well.
Yeah.
Which
I guess makes sense. It's so many effects, it just lets other attackers have it, but this one has to put itself in harm's way to get it.
Yeah, which is why this guy isn't like a main star of the deck, because he actually is kind of hard to
It's
pull
expensive.
this off. But it is worth doing this if you have Gishath out, because you'll get so many other dinosaurs from it, and if the Goring Ceratops has to die, it's like, oh well.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's like the dream, really, is to do this while you have Gishath out, and even be able to attack safely with Goring Ceratops into somebody would be great. Obviously not always going to be possible, but still a pretty solid dino. It's a fun ability for sure. After him, we have Belligerent Brontodon, 5 green-white dinosaur with a 4/6. Each creature you control assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power. So this is an interesting effect. Obviously, we've seen this before. We've seen Doran Siege Tower, or Siege, whatever his name is.
I think that's his name.
Is that his name?
Yeah.
And we also have Assault Formation. It's good because most dinosaurs have a higher toughness than they have power. A lot of the old ones don't, but we don't run too many of the old ones. But a lot of the new ones do. In fact, most of the new ones do. So he's really great. I did notice this, though. It is kind of a downside that it's only each creature you control. If it was all creatures, now all of a sudden you'd be laughing. It would be great. You'd have such an advantage. But this is a minor power advantage, I would call it, because a lot of things are like 4/5s or 4/6 or 5/7, 5/6, something like that, right? So it's a small little boost, but it's nice. It actually is a bit of a downside when it comes to your commander, because Gishath is a 7/6.
Oh yeah,
which
that sucks.
Kind of sucks, but for the most part, for the other like 30 dinosaurs in your deck, this is actually going to be pretty nice.
Cool. Let's move on to Verdant Sun's Avatar. 5 green. 5 green for Dinosaur Avatar. 5/5. Whenever Verdant Sun's Avatar or another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you gain life equal to that creature's toughness. That little Trostani ability on this little fella.
Yeah, very, very good. Obviously, anytime you gain big chunks of life like you will with this card, it's a very good thing. You're going to get attacked in this deck because in this deck you want to do a lot of attacking, so your creatures will be tapped a lot of the time. So to gain that life back keeps you right in the game. Keeps you attacking, keeps you able to attack. So this card is actually, I think this card is like maybe just shy of being on the 3 stars. This card is huge in this deck.
Yeah.
Very, very, very important. And a 5/5, which isn't too bad considering it's such a great ability on him. Like we're pretty happy to pay 7 mana, get that ability and a 5/5.
Pretty happy.
Yeah. Next we have, you know what, Sean, you should just read this because it's
this is
your
my favorite card.
card.
Ranging Raptors, 2 and a green, Dinosaur, 2/3, Enrage. Whenever Ranging Raptors is dealt damage, you may search your library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield tapped, and then shuffle your library. Man, I got a chance to play with this in Limited, and it is... I know Limited is different than Commander. It's probably not going to be as good in a Commander deck as it is in Limited, but this is a 3-for-1 almost every time.
It's not as good, but it's more abusable.
That's true. If we build around
You know?
it, we can just suck out basics like nobody's business.
Yeah, and in Rage, I mean, we use almost all of the Ixalan dinosaurs. We may even... Oh, yeah, all the ones that are on budget anyways, which we'll get to. So Enrage is a bit of a minor theme in the deck. It wasn't quite a big enough theme for me to really build around it, although we do have some things that help out and do look and use the ability. So, yeah, Ranging Raptors is solid. I think you're mostly going to get like 1 or 2 lands off of this guy, and that's probably about it. So, you know, it's decent. Okay, next then. Yeah, we're out of sync now, but I'll just go for the next one. Who cares? Bellowing Aegisaur. 5 and a white for a 3/5 dinosaur with Enrage. Says whenever Bellowing Aegisaur is dealt damage, put a +1/+1 counter on each other creature you control. This guy's great. Just another solid Enrage target. This guy's solid because he's got such a big butt. That 3/5 is going to be very helpful. It's 6, so it's a lot to pay for it, but he'll be doing some damage. He'll be helping out a lot. I think this guy's also a big like one of the main stars of the deck for sure.
I think the logic is whenever this dinosaur gets hurt, he roars a bunch and all the other dinosaurs like rally up. I think that's how it works. But look at those 2 like long neck dinosaurs in the back of a card who are just like, geez,
Yo,
Bellowing Aegisaur's at it again.
what's this guy's problem, man?
They don't look very supportive of whatever the Aegisaur is going through. He probably stubbed his toe and he's like, oh, everybody!
Attack, everyone attack! Hey, man, what's going on with this guy? I feel stronger that he's yelling, but like, woof, what's going on?
This guy's got rage issues.
He's like an ankylosaur. He's got all those spikes on him. He's like a spiky tail. Yeah. Who's next? Ooh,
next we have Wakening Sun's Avatar. 5, white, dinosaur avatar, 7/7. When Waking Sun's Avatar enters the battlefield, if you cast it from your hand, destroy all non-dinosaur creatures. Closest thing to a one-sided board wipe we can get in this deck.
That's right. Wakening Sun's Avatar is just a massive bomb. It's a 7/7 that also kills basically everything else on the battlefield except for your creatures. This is amazing. This card's insane.
Yep.
I had it as in the 3 stars, and then I wanted to talk about a different card, so I slid it out of there. But really, It is so good.
Yeah.
So those are the new dinos. I mean, these honestly range from some of the ones we didn't talk about, which are like sort of like just okay and fine, to massive bombs like Wakening Sun's Avatar. But because of this level of power on cards that we're seeing from Ixalan for this tribe, like it really does make it a somewhat like a pretty viable like tribal deck. Like I said, like kind of unlike the dwarves we had, which were a little bit janky. This is still pretty janky, but you do get some real big payoffs in some of these cards. Let's look back and take a look at some of these older dinosaurs and see what they're all about and see if they're worth anything, if they're worth including on our deck. Well, the spoiler alert, they are. Starting with Fungasaur. This is an old card. It's like Sean pointed out. It's from. Let's get that alpha print up there. There it is.
Ooh.
Look at him. Fungasaur 3 and a green. His alpha text is each time Fungasaur is damaged but not destroyed, put a +1/+1 counter on it. And of course, his Oracle text is just whenever it's still damaged, put a +1/+1 counter on it. He starts off as a 2/2 for 4. But again, with the little bit of synergy we have for Enrage in here, can make this guy get quite big. Yeah, he's a you don't want to have this guy tussle in combat very often, obviously early on. But if we can get some damage on him, he'll get a little bit bigger, and then yeah, he's something we can talk about.
I started playing Magic very briefly in like revised 4th edition, and my very first deck was Fungasaur with 4 Prodigal Sorcerers.
Nice. They just make him big. I almost put Prodigal Sorcerer in this, not Prodigal Sorcerer, but the red version, Prodigal Pyromancer.
Yeah.
I almost put that in this deck. I think it might be worth an include, actually.
Yeah.
For that repeated hit, yeah.
Let's do another oldie. Ripscale Predator, 4 red, lizard, but now is a dinosaur. 6/5. Ripscale Predator can't be blocked except by 2 or more creatures. So now it's a dinosaur, and now it has menace.
Yeah, now it just has the evergreen text of menace, and then explains it. But yeah, it's a 6/5 for 6. This creature was never that good. Was certainly not that good in Gatecrash because that was a very fast format, and you never had time to cast this guy.
Never.
But like overall, he's not too bad. Like 6/5 with menace isn't fantastic in Commander, obviously, but when you can pump him and you can do some things, with the dinosaur synergies, he can actually end up being a little hard to deal with for your opponent. So he made the cut. He made the cut because we need big creatures and we want dinosaurs. So he's both of those things. Next we have Tyrannax, 4 green for a 5/4. He used to be a beast. Now he's a dinosaur beast. So he didn't lose the beast text. He just gained dinosaur, which is weird. He has the ability of pay 1 and a green, and Tyrannax gets -1/+1 until end of turn, which, if you'll remember, works quite well with Belligerent Brontodon. Because he can pump up that toughness, and also we do run what's it called, Assault Formation in this deck, so that also works out well. So this guy can have sort of weird reverse fire breathing that ends up actually being crappy fire breathing. Anyway, so like he's
butt breathing,
yeah. Farting. Why don't we just call it that? Farting.
This creature has farting.
1 green gets -1/+1. It's not even that, right? Like fire, it should just be +0/+1. That's what it should be.
Yeah, that's true farting.
That's true. This is like, I don't want to get into it, but this is bad because it hurts you. It hurts your power while it's happening.
Oh no, I don't want to take this any further.
We're not going any farther with it. No. Just know that Tyrannax is a fine dinosaur. He's not anything to get excited over, but he does have some synergy with some of our other cards, so it's not so bad.
He's a fino dino.
Fino dino. Who we got next?
We got technically a dinosaur, Chameleon Colossus, 2 green for a shapeshifter changeling. Changelings are all creature types, including dinosaurs. It's got protection from black, which I always forget about. It's a 4/4 to start, but for the cost of 2 green, it gets +X/+X, where X is its power. So it effectively doubles itself with every 4 mana that you can afford to pay.
That's right. It's a great mana sink. Obviously, it's a dinosaur. It just makes a ton of sense to have Chameleon Colossus in a deck like this.
Yeah.
We're not going to talk about him, but Torian Mauler is also obviously in this deck because he's just a decent commander card who happens to now be a dinosaur as well.
Yep.
Those are some of the old dinos that are worth having in. A lot of them are like there's a 3/1 with Echo with First Strike. It's like, I don't like that. There was like a 2/1 with haste and something else, and like those little guys I didn't really bother including because they're just a little too irrelevant. But now that we're talking about, we've got all our dinos. Like this is a deck largely based in creatures. Where are these other synergies going to come from? What's really going to make this deck work together as a big cohesive group? And there's quite a few cards that are going to help in a couple different ways. First one we have here is Priest of the Awakening Sun. This one's from Ixalan. It's a rare from the current set. It's 1 white for a 1/1. Says at the beginning of your upkeep, if you may reveal a dinosaur card from your hand. If you do, you gain 2 life. Okay.
Oloro.
Thank you. Yeah, that's right. It's basically a Loro for dinosaurs. But also it has 3 and 2 white. You sacrifice Priest of the Awakening Sun, search your library for a dinosaur card, reveal it, put it in your hand, shuffle your library. So it's a nice tutor for some of your big game-ending ones. I think you basically always will look for Awakening Sun's avatar. Almost always. Depending on the board state, I suppose.
Yeah.
But like that's almost always the one you want, right? Like it's just so big. You might get that gain life one if you're far enough behind as well, and the board's not so intimidating. I don't know, but it's just the ability to have a nice tutor is pretty good.
Great. Next up in the synergy category, we've got Kinjali's Caller. Similar, 1 white for a 0/3 human cleric. Dinosaur spells you cast cost 1 generic less to cast. They get expensive, and that also affects our commander. We always like a price reduction for commanders.
That's right. There's 2 of these guys. There's one in red that will also then give the dinosaur haste. You can tap and give a dinosaur haste. There's also the one that, and then there's this one, right? So there's 2. So hopefully, if we can get those 2 together, all your dinosaurs get 2 cheaper. It's really, really good. We're talking about how like this guy isn't, or you and I were talking the other day, Sean. You were telling that like this guy's probably not that good in limited, but this is a great example of a card that's like not that great in limited, but like pretty solid in the tribal commander deck.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Well, jury's still out on the limited thing. I just feel like a 0/3 body won't do enough for you.
I actually just watched a little bit of Kenji draft, and he was saying the same thing. He doesn't like this card. Limited. Anyways, but we love it in this deck. It's actually very solid. You're happy to throw down just a little 0/3 that isn't going to do much for 1 mana, and then just gain you so much mana over the course of the game if it can stay out there.
Yep.
Who's next?
Ooh.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, dude, sure. Next up, Savage Stomp. This is the best fight card for dinosaurs. It's 2 and a green for a sorcery, and it costs 2 generic less if it targets a dinosaur, aka almost everything we care about. So it basically costs 1 green to put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control, and then have it fight target creature you don't control. Ooh-wee!
Yeah, this card is solid, right? It's fight cards aren't all that good in Commander, really, but I think in this deck there's a real exception, not only because it's so cheap, but also because it pumps your guy, and it also it gets that enrage going on those big ones that you want to have that happen with. So sometimes you want to just put a +1/+1 counter on everything you own, so you'll fight something with your bellowing Aegisaur or whatever. So it's the only fight card we run, and I think it's worth it to run it. The flavor's there also. It's got everything you need. It's from Ixalan. Why not, right? It's 1 green. It's solid.
Solid.
Doing this on your commander also feels good, just to like add that 1 extra +1/+1, eat something big, and then get in for 8. It's like really great.
Yep.
Next we have Pyrohemia. This one is your Enrage Enabler. These last 2 were both of those things. So Pyrohemia is 2 and 2 red for an enchantment that says at the beginning of the end step, if no creatures are on the battlefield, you sacrifice Pyrohemia. But then it says pay red, Pyrohemia deals 1 damage to each creature and each player. So it's what's the Pestilence? It's basically Pestilence, but in red, which makes a lot more sense, really, if you think about it. The fact that this wasn't red in the first place is like, what? Why? So Pyrohemia is obviously in here to enable Enrage. It also does a really great job of clearing the way for your dinosaurs to get through when it comes to like tokens or any little creatures that are just going to chump block. Pyrohemia is fantastic at getting rid of those guys.
Oh yeah, tokens hate catching on fire spontaneously.
Yeah, and again, like aside from board wipes, you're not really at risk of ever killing your own dinosaurs with Pyrohemia. The toughness that we have is just too much, right? Like it's just we'd have way too much toughness. So you'll always have dinosaurs out as long as you have Pyrohemia. And again, unless it was like an actual board wipe, your Pyrohemia is probably going to survive a pretty long time.
Yeah, how would you give insurance to Pyrohemia so it survives board wipes? I guess you'd have to have flash creatures.
Flash creatures, anything that just makes something indestructible.
Yeah, or if you blink something until end of turn.
Well, actually, would that even? Yeah, because you'd stack it so that it would come back in. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that would work too.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Interesting.
Yep. But this is a really good card. I think it's like a pseudo board wipe, pseudo one-sided board wipe, but also enables your enrage.
And the art is very metal.
Very metal. Pyrohemia sounds like it sounds like a metal song for sure.
Yeah.
It sounds like a song Metallica recorded.
Next up, this is Herald's Horn. This is from the new Commander set, 3 generic for an artifact. As Herald's Horn enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Dinosaurs. Creature spells you cast of the chosen type cost 1 generic less. And at the beginning of your upkeep, look at the top card of your library. If it's a creature type of the chosen type, you may reveal it and put it into your hand. So you get to draw extra dinosaurs off the top of your deck. Not only that, they cost 1 cheaper.
Yep, it's ramp and it's sort of card draw as well. So this is just a great card. I think every tribal deck's going to want this, which I think is also a reason why it is a little bit pricey these days.
Yeah.
We'll get to that in a second, though. Finally, in this category, when it just comes to actual other synergies, I've mentioned it a few times, but it's Assault Formation. 1 and a green for an enchantment that says each creature you control assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power. So that is obviously the big butt-swinging move. It's solid because most of our dinosaurs have higher toughness than they do power. It's really great. It also has the text of pay green. Target creature with Defender can attack this turn as though it didn't have Defender. That text is largely irrelevant, as I don't believe there's a single Defender in the entire deck. Although we do run another card, which we'll talk about in a second, that you could technically use it with, but you wouldn't. Anyways. But some really good text is 2 and a green. Creatures you control get +0/+1. Butt breathing, also known as farting, until end of turn. So yeah, Assault Formation does actually give all of your creatures butt breathing. And which actually is completely relevant when it comes to the ability that Assault Formation already gives them. So this guy also sort of allows you to like your little guys live through Pyrohemia, I guess. I don't know. You probably wouldn't even bother spending the 4 mana for that. Sean, what's going on at your house?
I had to duck out of frame because I mentioned one of my kitties is wearing a cone because he wouldn't stop licking his back paw, and he kind of like made it bleed a little bit from like in between the toes. But he somehow, I guess he was trying to scratch at his cone with his front paw, and he got his front arm also in the cone. So his neck and arm were in there, and he was just hopping around going nuts. Buddy.
Poor guy.
Yeah, so I had to undo it, pull him out of the cone for a second. He tasted freedom, remembered what it was like, and then I had to put him back in prison.
Oh, the cone prison.
I'm so depressed with it. Just a couple more days.
That is all of the synergies when it comes to our dinosaurs. None of that synergizes with a cat stuck in a cone, unfortunately. But yeah, Assault Formation's good in this deck, I think. I think it's pretty solid usually.
Yeah.
And it has true butt breathing. Did you miss that? Did you pick up
true
on that?
Butt breathing? Oh, I got that. True farting?
Your dinosaurs can pure trumpet their butts across the battlefield, no problem.
Yeah, right? Oh, gross.
Okay, well, yeah, that's kind of it, right? So we got a little bit of this kind of like toughness matters strategy. We got a little bit of this Pyrohemia style thing where we want to hit our own guys a little bit and keep the board clear of little dudes. So yeah, it's I think there's some real legs here. I think the next set, which I think is what's it called? Something of Ixalan? Pirates of Ixalan or something like that? No.
I don't think it's Pirates of Ixalan. What is it? Ixalan Revisited.
It's like Explorers of Ixalan or something. Anyways, when we get even a few more dinosaurs, hopefully, I think you might be able to get a real solid deck here. Because you can take out a couple of things, like your Ripscale Predators and a couple other little guys like that aren't super
Andy,
great.
It's called Rivals of Ixalan.
Rivals of Ixalan.
Do you think they will represent another continent with other tribes on it that show up to kick butt?
I don't know. That's a good question. Yes,
like
possibly.
Here come the fairies and the elementals and the beasts and the other things.
I would be kind of disappointed in that, wouldn't you?
I would be disappointed to not get more synergy with these.
I would want more dinosaurs, more pirates, all that kind of stuff.
More sores, more rats, more folk, and more pyres.
More rats.
Pyre rats.
Right. Okay, let's take a look at what the 3 stars of the deck are. I mentioned earlier some of the dinosaurs that were in the running for it, but let's actually take a look and see what are the best cards that are going to help us win with this big dino deck. Sean, why don't you start us off here with number 3?
Sure. Number 3, flavor win with a Dragon Throne of Tarkir. 4 generic for legendary equipment. Equipped creature has Defender. And remember, we can still attack with our defenders. 2 tap. Other creatures you control gain trample and +X until end of turn, where X is this creature's power, and it equips for 3. Now, if we're going to assume that dinosaurs are actually descendants from birds and or lizards, for sure dragons are cousins of them, so this makes perfect sense.
Yeah, totally. It totally does. Dragons and dinosaurs are definitely related somewhere in the magic family tree.
It's like how a unicorn and a horse are the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. So a Dragon Throne of Tarkir makes a lot of sense, and it's just very good because pumping your dinosaurs, making them big, lets them live through combat. Giving them trample lets you win the game, obviously. So you probably just want to sit, and there, like I said, there are some smaller dinosaurs which get outclassed eventually as the game goes on, and that's just the through just the luck of the fact that there's not that many dinosaurs, right? So we have to run a couple of uncommons that wouldn't usually make it into a commander deck. Well, luckily late in the game you can suit them up with Dragon Throne of Tarkir, and even if you're giving something +2/+2, you're giving everything +2/+2 and trample. That's actually still very good, right? That's probably the floor, but really you're probably more looking at like +3, +4, +5 even. And Dragon Throne is a great card to have when you've got a bunch of angry dinos stomping after your opponent. Second star of the deck is because we're doing a lot of attacking. Erois, God of Victory, 2 red-white, indestructible. As long as your devotion to red and white is less than 7, Erois isn't a creature. Creatures you control have menace and prevent all damage that would be dealt to attacking creatures you control. Well, this guy just makes a ton of sense. We want to be swinging. We want to be attacking. So Erois protects those dinosaurs when you're attacking. This is a great way to get your goring Ceratops rolling, right? You can attack freely with him if you have Erois out. Erois, you don't ever really want Erois to be a creature, and I think most of our dinosaurs are probably mostly green. There is a good amount of red and white, but mostly the big good ones are green. So he'll probably stay an enchantment and not really become a creature. But even if he did, some of the things we have will make him deal damage equal to his toughness, which is also not great. So you don't want that. But Erois, you probably wouldn't even attack with him. Don't even put him in danger. I mean, he's indestructible, so he's probably fine. But at any rate, Erois is really, really great. Protects everybody and lets you attack as much as you want.
Yeah, no doubt Erois is watching over the dinosaurs. They're his team.
Yeah, for sure. He's big into the dinos.
Number 1 star of the deck from Ixalan, Vanquisher's Banner. 5 generic for an artifact. As it enters the battlefield, choose dinosaurs. Creatures you control that are dinosaurs get +1/+1. And whenever you cast a creature spell of the chosen type, dinosaurs, draw a card. This is going to be huge for any tribal deck looking forward, looking backwards. They were so nice to have made this for us. It's one of those things where it's like some cards are getting real expensive about tribal, especially because of C17. But here we go. Thanks. Here's another one that's not going to be very expensive. We can afford to buy a bunch of copies for all of our tribal needs.
Yeah, and it really is a new all-star when it comes to tribal decks, right?
It pumps them, and you get to draw extra cards off of them.
Yeah,
boom.
It's really, really great. You're going to want this in every tribal deck, essentially. And no dinosaurs are no different. Also, these aren't great draw colors. I mean, we can draw some cards from green, but red and white especially give us some challenges in that department. So Vanquisher's Banner is essential. You simply must have it because then every dinosaur you cast brings another card with it. So, that's why I think it's worthy of being the number 1 star of the deck.
Awesome. Andy, were there any surprises and discoveries while putting this together?
I had a surprise. Well, I don't know if I'd call it a surprise. More of like a pseudo confirmation. And that was regarding Pillar of Origins. So Pillar of Origins is the 2-mana artifact that when it enters, you choose a creature type, and then you can tap it for any color as long as it's spent to cast that creature type. Well, we have a very good number of dinosaurs in this deck. I think it's something like 33 or 34 or something like that. And despite that, I still was like, oh, Pillar of Origins, I wish you could tap for other things too. Sadly.
Like colorless?
Yeah, like I just wish it had, yeah, like it's actually not as, I thought it would be fine. And like, I'd say maybe like 50 to 40% of the time I was like, oh, well, maybe less than that. Maybe like 30% of the time I was like, I wish this could tap for something else. And then it just did nothing. So
it's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, maybe those were just the games I was in. Maybe maybe most of the time this thing is totally fine, but there's only a couple of non-dinos, and then there's like all your instants and sorceries, enchantments, and artifacts this doesn't do anything for. So I kind of don't think it's worth it. I think you would never play this over Felwar Stone. I don't think you ever should. And
what about a Signet?
No, I think you definitely run Signets over this too.
So there's 4 2-drop artifacts ramp already. Like at a certain point, I think it's going to be very tricky to want as many where this becomes the next best available pick.
Agreed. There's even other better things, like I think Cold Steel Heart is also 2 mana, isn't it?
Yeah. I think I'd rather have Mind Stone over this. I'd rather just kind of have that utility. I don't know.
Yeah, I think actually that is solid. That also then turns into a card when you don't need it. So I thought Pillar of Origins would be fine, and it turns out I don't think it is. I don't even think you really want this in tribal decks, sadly. There's Cold Steel Heart. Yeah, it is. It's 2, but it comes into play tapped, so it's a little different. Cold Steel Heart. Yeah, so that's the first. I think that's like the first negative surprise we've ever had on the show. Usually, surprises and discoveries is reserved for like a good thing, like a fun card we found.
Yeah, or like I know we've done cards that we expect to be bad, but we're surprised that we're good.
Yeah. This was kind of the other way around, and in fact, it did turn out to be not that great.
Let's categorize it more on the discovery side of things. You discovered how ineffective it was with firsthand data.
I am surprised at how bad it was. So there's that too also.
You know what? Great. Yeah, like it's a trap. It looks like it's perfect for tribal decks, but it is just worse than so many other options we have in general.
Yeah, exactly. Anyways, let's get to the budget report right after we talk about Wizard's Tower for a second.
Oh my goodness. Did you see some of the Twitter pics of their pre-release?
No, actually I missed them.
They totally redid the store. It looks like a jungles. The walls are all kind of jungly. Dave, the owner, there's a tweet of him as Castaway Jace. With like the weird magic scars, and he's got like his shoulder coming out of this blue robe.
Oh, man.
And there was one shot, I'm assuming this is when like it all started, where they ran a fog machine for a couple of seconds, so it was all misty. It looked all misty in there, like you were in the jungles of Ixalan. It looked so rad. Oh, I wish I could have been present just to see it.
That's awesome.
Oh man, it looked so awesome.
And of course they had the treasures thing going on too, the treasure hunt and everything.
Oh, the scavenger hunt where you gotta look for stuff. Yeah, you gotta like find secret info to like fill it on your map. Man, they went all out. Like I don't know what the next set's about. Do we know the theme of the next set yet? I don't think we do. But like, it might be worth seeing.
You mean after Ixalan?
Yeah.
Dominaria,
Are we going back to Dominaria? Anyway, man, those guys at Wizard's Tower really know how to throw a party.
So yeah, go check them out. They're in just out there in Nepean, which is basically just Ottawa, Ontario. If you can't get out to their physical store sometime, if you're not from that area or if you're not from Canada, period, you can go to wizardtower.com. And if you're ordering singles, use Tower of Brews. That's our coupon code. And get 5% off your order of $15 or more. They ship free to the States and Canada. Again, orders of $15 or more. So yeah, make that happen.
Order them Ixalans.
They order them Ixalanians. Next. Okay, so now it's time for the budget report.
This is where we take all the cards, encase them in amber, and forget about them for a few billion years. Then extract their DNA and see which ones come back to life and try to kill us.
Wow, I hope it's none of them. I hope none of these cards come back to try and kill us.
Unfortunately, Andy, there will be 3. As always, 3 cards survive whatever
That's true.
criteria we come up for.
That is absolutely true. So which cards are going to try and murder us in a couple hundred years? Well, number 1, the most expensive card in the deck is Gishath, Sun's Avatar. He's the commander. You gotta have him. Right now he's pre-selling. Well, I guess it's not even. Yeah, it is still pre-selling for just under $7 USD. So he's around $6.75 or so. I anticipate that will go down because I don't think that he's going to be runnable in any kind of standard thing or any other actual format. And I think that we'll probably see enough of him that the commander demand isn't going to be super, super high, especially since a lot of people just either built or made their own dragons deck. I really feel like Gishath's gonna drop in price. Right now I think it's like that's just his price because he's a mythic.
Yeah, it really is tough. Like, to me, the dream scenario, and this is so far reaching. Like, I don't even think this is a thing. Like, I just wish I wish we could brew a deck that also had blue, so we could run that enchantment and name every card as a dinosaur, so that we could crack with this guy and just drop these monster bomb creatures. But unfortunately, the amount of hoops you have to go through to make that work seems not worth it to me.
Yeah. And then ideally, you even want black because just for the redundancy of conspiracy in there.
Sure.
Yeah.
5-color dinosaurs.
Yeah, because Xenograph doesn't do it, right? Xenograph only does it for stuff that's on the battlefield.
You might be right. I forget.
So I think you'd need the one from Ixalan and then conspiracy. But yeah,
dang,
yeah, it's a bummer. Yeah, Gishath, I do think it'll go down once people start cracking this set, and stores get sold more and more of these guys.
Yeah.
Who's the number 2?
Ooh, number 2 is Harold's Horn. This one is this one's just above $5. It's the commander effect, right? These cards are only available in one format, and I think this is only in 2 of the 4 tribal commander decks. Yeah. So obviously all 4 decks want this card, already increasing the demand outpaced of the supply by 50%.
Yeah.
It's 3 generic. We talked about what it was. It's just amazing. It's one of the best tribal artifact assisters.
Yep, absolutely. Reduces the cost of everything of that tribe, and then of course you get to draw a card or whatever if it's the kind that you turn around. And the third one we've already talked about is Erois. Erois back up to about $4.50. This guy dropped in price a bit when he was included in the 2016 Commander series,
right?
But has since popped back up to around $4, or just over $4. Solid commander commander. He is a solid commander. He's also a solid card just for any deck that wants to attack, right? Every one of your creatures can attack safely if Erois is out. So, which reminds me, I should put this in my Vampires deck. Why not? That's a deck that wants to keep attacking, so why not include
right?
Erois? So, yeah, anyways. Erois is great, worth it. I think really all of these are worth it at the prices they're currently at. Harold's Horn, you could make a case for cutting, but I think it's still around $5, so I think you're still okay to include
that case would only be if you assume that your dinosaurs are just big enough anyway. But it's that card draw, right? We still want that card draw.
Want that card draw, yeah. It's
good. tough to justify that cut.
Yeah. When it comes to out of budget cards that are very good in this deck specifically, there's a couple actually, and but before we get into the actual dinosaurs, there's 2 cards I wanted to bring up off the top that are just good tribal cards in general, and I just wanted to touch on them kind of briefly because they're just good for any tribal deck. But it's Bellbase Portal and Urza's Incubator. And if you remember, Bellbase Portal used to be a card that we can include in decks pretty easily, but now because of the commander tribal decks, it's gone up. It's looking around just under $7 now, like $6.60, $6.70. You can probably find like a beat up version for cheaper, which is good, but Bellbase Portal is the 5-mana artifact. When it comes to play, you choose a creature type, then you can pay 3 and tap it to just put a creature type into play of that type. So this is very good especially in tribal decks where we're talking lots of colors, or we're talking big mana costs, right? That's where Bell-based Portal gets really, really good. Just at 675, whatever it is, this was just a little too expensive for a deck. Same thing goes for Urza's Incubator, which was never cheap. It dipped in price because it was reprinted in Commander 15.
Yeah.
And this is just the same thing. Choose a creature type, 3 mana artifact, but those creature type are 2 less.
It's up to 1650.
Yeah, this is now like a 15. 16 on the MTG Goldfish. I looked at it, said it was 18. So like it's ranging in that price. Like this is an expensive card.
That's like okay, so our arbitrary line is $5, right? Which is like, I can stomach $5. You buy a fancy coffee at your old coffee shop, that's $5. That's one Magic card, right? But like $20 is like, man, I can get like a combo and a drink and a dessert for like $20. Like that's getting
less than $20 if you're at the right place.
Yeah, man. I can get like a whole pizza pie for $20.
Yeah, this card is obviously insane when it comes to tribal decks, and I'm not surprised it's up to almost $20. Like it's yeah. There's no way we're including this, but if you have one, if you bought into this set and you have one of these guys, I mean, this is obviously a great deck for it.
If you do run this in your Dinosaurs Tribal, I would implore you to alter the art. So instead of rubbing the mist off of rubbing like the dust off of an incubation for a person, draw a mosquito in there like that's a big chunk of amber.
Yeah, make it that this guy is out in the jungles of South America or whatever it is, and he's rubbing a piece of amber that has just been pulled out of a mine. Oh, that would be so good.
And then put him in that white suit that with the white hat.
With the white hat. Yeah. Oh my God, you can keep the big book. I like the big book in his hand. That's still
works.
Pretty good. But yeah, or you make it that he's he's Sam Neill's character. And
I was him for Halloween. What's his name?
Dr. Grant.
Yes, Dr. Alan Grant.
Yeah, and you have and instead of his hand splayed out on the thing, you have him holding the little raptor claw.
Yeah.
To that kid, and you make that little kid who didn't think raptors were cool. Anyways, there's also 3 other actual dinos that we very sadly could not include in this deck because they're just too expensive. Sean, why don't you start with the first one here?
Ripjaw Raptor, 2 green, 4/5 Enrage. Whenever Ripjaw Raptor is dealt damage, draw a card. This is almost $10 because people are speculating that in Standard, this is going to be a house. It's very overstated for its cost, and not only that, it's very difficult to deal with without giving that player an extra card and therefore more to do. So I can see how in Standard this is going to be a big player. So like, will this drop a ton when it rotates in like 2.5 years or whatever long it takes? Absolutely.
Yeah, hopefully that's when you can pick up your Ripjaw Raptors, because right now $10 is just too much for this card.
Yeah.
Unless you're playing Standard and you need it to win for some reason.
Sure.
Next we have a Regisaur Alpha. 3 red, green. He's a creature dinosaur. He's a 4/4. Other dinosaurs you control have haste, which is really good. When Regisaur Alpha enters the battlefield, create a 3/3 green dinosaur creature token with trample. This guy is good. Not like amazing or anything, but like he's good. And I actually really tried hard to get this guy in, but he's also like an $8 card, like just between like $7.50, $8. It's just too much for this effect. It's just, I would love to have a creature that gives all my dinosaurs haste and makes another little dinosaur. Like you get 2 dinos out of it. That's great. But no way, man. Like we have like, the reason I really wanted to keep him in is because we have stuff like Garrick's Pack Leader and Elemental Bond. So whenever something with 3 or more comes into play, you draw cards off of it, which is great, right? All our dinosaurs are pretty big. This guy would draw you 2 cards. Like it'd be so good, but he's just too expensive right now.
Yeah.
And finally,
oh man, Carnage Tyrant, 4 green. It's a dinosaur, can't be countered, trample, hexproof, 7/6. On the surface, it doesn't seem that special, but this is almost $30.
Yeah.
Again, not to get too deep on the finance, like if a box of Ixalan is about $100, then all the average value of the cards needs to add up to $100 for that to make economic sense. And so all that $100 has to kind of go somewhere, and there aren't a lot of exciting cards they're speculating for standard, so most of it is going into a few cards, this being the number one to fight the mono red decks. So, like, yeah, half the box's value is basically going to this one card.
This guy's there to fight the mono red deck? Is that what it is?
Yeah, because it's hexproof, so they can't target it with anything. It can't be countered, so it doesn't need to fear blue decks. It tussles amazing with the blue Gear Hulk. Like, it beats the blue Gear Hulk in combat. It's just like it's going to be an all-star in this standard format. I think they're correct in assuming that. But, like, man, us Commander players, we just got to wait.
Yeah, we certainly do. It's a Mythic, too, which is a little bit of a bummer because I think... Yeah, it just kind of stinks, right? Like, having a couple of these dinosaurs at Mythic... is going to make their prices just go up, and obviously what Sean said is true, so it's going to be like it's $30, but even then when it comes down, it's still going to hopefully it'll go down under like $5, you think? Maybe
once it's in standard, or once it rotates?
Once it's out of standard.
Once it rotates, I think it'll be like a gumball. Like, I don't
really?
Because like we've got better creatures than this for 6. Like, what's that? I mean, it doesn't have hexproof, but there's an 8/8 can't be countered trample, I think, for like 3 green.
Oh, really?
I forget what it's called. I'm gonna look it up. So it's a green creature. Scryfall. Color is green. Type is creature. Can you do power? I'm gonna see if power equals 8. I'll see if it works. It works. I can search it that way. Yeah, like, so just off the top, I mean, you got Gaia's Revenge. It costs 1 more, but it can't be countered, and it can't be the target of non-green spells or abilities. It's kind of hexproof.
Yeah, you're right. For other formats, this may not be it. But maybe this is the perfect storm of things of can't be countered, hexproof, trample.
Well, Terra Stomper. Terra Stomper is 8/8, can't be countered, trample. So you're only losing the hexproof, and it's 8/8. I mean... For Commander, there's no way anyone cares about that extra, like, other than standard.
Yeah, that's probably true. So anyway, sadly, those are the creatures that are out of budget. Obviously, this card's like $30, so we're not even close to including it. But we still managed to put together, I think, a pretty solid dinosaur deck. It has some weaknesses that I would at this point kind of go back and tinker with. Like, you need some stuff that protects against wraths. You need, you need some stuff like that. You might want to lean a little heavier into the Pyrohemia style, enrage mechanic almost, or you might want to lean away from that and just go more towards, things like, giving your stuff indestructible to prevent board wipes and things like that. Just some other staple abilities. Lean into the synergy or away from it. I think either way might be the move here. But it's a fun deck to put together, and it is fun to play with because it's just big, stompy, green, red, white, like Naya monsters. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, Naya monsters.
Yep. So that's it.
Oh, man, what a fun episode of the Toronto Raptors edition.
Yeah, that's right. Special shout out to the Toronto Raptors, also known as us. We're the Toronto Raptors for this dinosaur-themed episode.
While we were going, I don't know if this is useful to anybody. I put Gishath into an anagram generator because it looked like it should be something else.
Right.
Not a lot of interesting anagrams. The most interesting one is a thighs.
Oh, okay. A thighs. Gishath is a thighs.
Yeah.
Weird. Okay, well, on that note, we'll take our thighs and move them so that we walk away from this episode of Commander's Brew. Thanks very much, everyone, for listening. We'll have a little fun Commander interview segment thing after this. And otherwise, we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.
I got some good ideas for upcoming segments, I think.
Okay, all right.
I know we're done the C17 stuff, but Ixalan's coming out. It's going to be a lot of great stuff.
Yeah. Did you hear the station owner's back in town?
No.
I know. He's probably going to...
No.
Yeah.
Now
Gentlemen! Oh my God.
Good to see you guys again. Was it Dramoka in the visit? All right?
No, it's Andy and Sean.
I don't care.
We say at the beginning of every show.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Look, just got back from Ibiza. Pretty sick time. Probably want to ask me about it. Go ahead.
How was it?
It was fantastic. Tons of chicks.
Okay.
Talking eggs. You know what I mean?
Oh.
Yeah.
Chicks as eggs?
Yep, that's right. That's what I look for. This old Big Daddy Dragon, you know what I mean?
So that's just a regular egg you have in between your
Sure
legs
is.
there?
Just waiting for her to hatch.
Oh, wow.
It's going to be real. Let's not get into that. Look,
Yeah, okay. Sorry, Mr. Bullis.
the important thing is there's going to be a few changes around here. While I was over in Ibiza, I was spent a little too much mana, if you know what I mean. Getting pretty excited about those treasure tokens coming up. How are we putting more mana in this guy's pocket?
Okay,
All right.
well, we have some ideas we were thinking of doing.
I mean, things are going great though.
Yeah.
So like,
Right, you're
what
going to
if we
work
just?
longer hours. I like it. Or else don't make me gain control of target families again.
Okay. No one needs to...
Great, 80-hour weeks, is that what we're talking about?
I think it's working good.
80-hour weeks. Do it with me, come on. Come on. Let's go, Dramoka. Here we go. All right, great. I'm going to go get some chocolate from the break room.
Oh. Okay, peace.
Save me a piece. Sucks.
There's chocolate in the break room? Has there always been chocolate in the break room?
If you want to contact us, I'm at Sean Tabaris.
And I'm at Andy Holbone.
Send us an email at commandersbrew@gmail.com.
You can find out when we go live on Twitch if you follow us at twitch.tv.
And if you care to support us on Patreon, check us out at patreon.com.
And you can find our deck list on tappedout.net.
And if we forgot anything, commandersbrew.com.